him wanting to go sit down and speak to these, like when Nick Cannon did it, I'm pretty sure they took it as a genuine apology because he didn't see where he was wrong. So that they sat him down and said, okay, this is where you're wrong. And he's like, okay, cool, my bad.
And also,
I get that.
I know what the apology is for other people within that community to be like, cool, but then that community showing others that, do you know what, we can have forgiveness as long as you're sorry, but none of you do it again. There's kind of that to it as well. Because if you look at Nick Cannon, if you look at Kyrie, if you look at a few people that when they apologise, it wasn't a case of we don't accept your apology. It was like, all right, cool. Now come get education to show that we're cool and you're never going to do it again, and to show other people. That's why I was saying, and this will go into another topic, was that what is the black equivalent to that? Because when you say to someone, when you say something about someone in the Jewish community, you got to see a rabbi and apologise. If you see someone say something about a Muslim, you got to see an imam, go to a mosque. Someone Sikh, you got to go to a temple. I don't know, other religions. When it's a black culture, there's no figure in our community.
Yeah, well, you mentioned religions, that's why.
No, but
I just clocked. You mentioned religions when you said what you said.
Yeah, but for example,
black people, you didn't mention religion.
Cool, but in terms of Asian, what KSI said wasn't religion based. It was
no, that's why I said when I saw him going to some place that he's going to, I was a bit confused.
Yeah, but cool. But then within those religions, those are the heads of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because remember, in terms of religions, they not at the forefront, but in terms of a lot of those races, it's kind of staple in their community, religion and.
So what's ours?
Is it recording?
yeah.
No, I'm blessed.
No. Oh, yeah, we just cut it out.
The Dalai Lama thing as well was just, for me, was just mad wayward. And it was funny because something was like, oh, it's a significant, greeting. So they used to stick their tongue out as a greeting. I was like, yeah, but I want no tongue sucking going on.
But the thing is, if it was, then fine. Then he would.
No, sticking the tongue out is the greeting. All of the extra stuff is like, no.
He said, he told you suck my tongue.
Yeah. Bro, even them.
Where's the parents?
Parents were
local, bro.
Brother, I'll jump on the stage, bro.
What? The clothesline over the games, man. Yeah.
Imagine your kids up there and he's like, kiss. When he asked the kids, I would have been like, wait, hold on.
What's crazy is that actually happened in February.
But
it's only just come out.
Oh, listen. The stage would have got rushed.
Happened in February and it's only just come out. Yeah, recently.
And also another thing I don't like is these apologies, man.
I don't think he even done it. It was his team. He did. Well, he definitely did. The English was fantastic.
I put up a post the other day.
Not one grammatical error, you know.
Put ChatGPT to write it. I was gonna say,
he didn't write that, man.
The apology thing, bro. I've said it before, and I'll say it again to people, bro. These apologies, nobody wants an apology. These people want to cook you. They want you to apologize so they can have something else to cook you about. That's the problem. When you're in this spot, when you apologize, you're apologizing just to say you've apologized. Because for the most part, those people do not care. Because when the apology, these people that come out and do a survey and they'll analyze your apology and they'll break it down from top to bottom, bro. They do not want.
But that's why you got to apologize. This not quick,
bro. It doesn't matter.
There's no long thing. No. But sometimes the thing is, if you apologize and you put stipulations in, people come for you. If you apologize, for example, the time a poet apologized, no one can say that.
The who?
The time poet apologized. Poet was like, you know what? I done something. I was a prick. My bad. I shouldn't have done it. Or no one can say nothing.
No, but then he also explained that it took for someone close to him.
I hear
to
that.
Speak to him and show him.
I hear that.
Which makes sense.
No, I hear that.
The timeline cooking me is not going to change my mind.
No,
you man phoning me saying that, Taze, I can't lie.
What apology for?
I can't remember what he did, but the apology that he took, everyone just kind of stood back. Yeah, it made sense why he did it.
It was just
People
like cool.
called him. But I'm talking about the ones where I wake up and I just see bare notifications. I'm like, right, timeline's cooking me, boy. Are you man sorry? You ain't sorry.
I think it depends on how you say it, innit? Because at the end of the day, the timeline will look at it like, I think it depends on who you are and also how you said sorry, innit?
Because certain man ain't sorry for cheating. They're sorry they got caught.
But even
women cheat too, you know.
Yeah, but more time I feel like women have a motive.
But my thing is with apologies, the one thing people always love to say, well, if you hadn't been caught or if you hadn't this, you wouldn't be apologizing. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to wake up and randomly apologize one day for no reason. Just no reason.
Not no reason, but like you thought about it and thought, nah, this is wrong. Because I can't lie to you, like the way I see things going,
the people that demand that don't do that. nobody's perfect, so people fuck up. These people have never woken up one day and they've gone and randomly apologized to someone for some shit they've did.
No, but
or
have you?
something.
Okay, but
People
have
do
you
not
ever
do
been in
that.
a situation where you thought, you know what?
And who am I? And the thing
I
is,
handled that
especially on mass, right? When you deal with social media, when you're dealing with, let's say, thousands of people,
Yeah.
essentially, who am I apologizing to?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's what happens. You know what I mean? And the thing
No, I
is,
think it's
you
gra-
could could be cool with my apology, and you might not.
No, no.
You might be offended. You might not
but
be.
that's-
So it just
but
gets
Keith,
weird.
I think that's fine because anyone. The bottom line is an apology isn't. I don't think
It's
an
not
apology.
for the
It's not for the masses. It's
Who's
for,
it for?
It's for you. So your apology
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
You're basically what your
if you're no, the reason why I'm saying that is he's pulling a facial expression.
No.
I'm saying
No.
if you genuinely care about what you've said and you know that, do you know what? I need to apologize. It's for you. It's not for anyone else.
And also,
100%,
and
but
also,
who am I
Keith, you know what,
apologizing to?
No. Do you know it's a line in the sand, as in like, for example, it's like if I do something today and I apologize, like you can bring it up later if you want. I've apologized though, innit? Like, and it's one of those ones where you can't keep going on about it.
I don't know,
because
they will.
apologise.
And that's why I say to people, that don't change nothing. As you know what I mean? When it comes to social media and, you know, when people holding people, you know, whatever, the problem with people is, bro, is it's not an apology that people want. You know, people say they want the apology.
It's
they
changed
don't.
behavior, though.
They
It's
want
changed
what?
behavior.
You wouldn't need to apologize again if you didn't do it again.
No,
If
it's changed behavior, but also I feel like it is how you apologize. I'm telling you.
No, yeah, that plays a
How
part.
many?
too, as well.
There's not many, and when I can sit there, I could genuinely say I don't think there's anybody that's ever gotten away with people saying it's not sincere. And then you sit there and you're like, who made you the apology police?
But Keith, I can't take someone who's sitting in their yard tweeting
Who,
away.
bro?
No, but
who?
what I'm
Like I
saying
said,
is-
but who made you the king of how
That's what
apologies are
I'm-
supposed to be done?
No, that's my point.
That's what
That's
Taylor's
my
saying.
point is, so
It's
because
not. It's not for him.
It's not for him. It's for
But
me.
it's for you. But it's how you. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all adults and we're all rational human beings. Well, not all of us, but some of us, and we can see when an apology
It's
is genuine
No, and that's-
or
but-
sincere. At the end of the day, remember, a sincere apology doesn't mean for example, even if you look at KSI, for example, I'm not saying it isn't sincere. I'm not too sure, but the behaviour that is following the apology.
It now feels like he's doing too much.
No, it feels like it's too much. But at the same time, it's like you can't knock him for it because he's apologized twice. He's gone to see Imam. He's gone to see a Sikh temple. Like, so at the end of the day, he's kind of, although he might be in this PR world, he's checking off all of the. Do you know what? I'm sorry. Like, you might look. I'm sorry. Like, you know, it's kind of like he's going to sorry. So at the end of the day, it's one of those ones where a line will have to be drawn soon with this because it's like, bro, he's done the rounds. He said sorry. You can't get onto.
Okay, cool. Let's just clarify. The reason why I'm saying it feels like he's doing too much is because he's still KSI. So what's happening is he's going to these places to speak to whoever he needs to speak to, but then the people who are around are like, oh, what can I get? Can I quickly get a promo video? So they're slapping caps on, man. Oh yeah, wear this hoodie. And because it's of that nature, he's thinking, I can't say no. So what you would have paid grands for, you're essentially getting it for free.
I'm definitely saying no.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the part where I'm saying it's a bit too much. But him wanting to go sit down and speak to these, like when Nick Cannon did it, I'm pretty sure they took it as a genuine apology because he didn't see where he was wrong. So that they sat him down and said, okay, this is where you're wrong. And he's like, okay, cool, my bad.
And also,
I get that.
I know what the apology is for other people within that community to be like, cool, but then that community showing others that, do you know what, we can have forgiveness as long as you're sorry, but none of you got to do it again. There's kind of that to it as well, because if you look at Nick Cannon, if you look at Kyrie, if you look at a few people that when they apologised, it wasn't a case of we don't accept your apology. It was like, all right, cool, now come get education to show that we're cool and you're never going to do it again, and to show other people. That's why I was saying, and this will go into another topic, was that what is the black equivalent to that? Because when you say something about someone in the Jewish community, you got to see a rabbi and apologize. If you see someone say something about a Muslim, you got to see an imam, go to a mosque. Someone Sikh, you got to go to a temple. I don't know, other religions. When it's a black culture, there's no figure in our community.
Yeah, well, you mentioned religions, that's why.
No, but
I just clocked. You mentioned religions when you said what you said.
Yeah, but for example,
black people, you didn't mention religion.
Cool, but in terms of Asian, what KSI said wasn't religion based. It was
no, that's why I said when I saw him going to some place that he's going to, I was a bit confused.
Yeah, but cool. But then within those religions, those are the heads of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because remember, in terms of religions, they not at the forefront, but in terms of a lot of those races, it's kind of staple in their community, religion and.
So what's ours?
You know what I'm saying?
I see some people trying to claim back the N-word. I said, yeah, where
God,
we going?
we're in a mess.
Here,
but that's what I'm saying. But someone can say the N-word. Like, for example, if KSI was white and he said the N-word, who would he go and see? He's going on ZZ. I told you, he's going to go on ZZ, bro.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Like, it's like we don't people talk about gatekeeping our community and this and that, but like, it's just entertainment, bro. Because what they will try and do is get right with the streets. They will try and get right with the culture by going on shows that are relevant to the culture.
But I think,
you know what I'm saying? Whereas KSI is not trying to go on 5 Asian podcasts to get with the culture. He's going to the imam and saying, you know what, you man, sorry, man. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not trying to get on the Asian version of Free Shots. He's not trying to go on...
So I guess your question is, who's our leaders?
That's what I'm saying. Who is our version of that? Because remember, but when you think about
the church,
but that's what I'm saying, because in the church, man are saying, "Oh, you man are stealing money, you man are doing this, pastor this." I don't even what is our version, bro?
It's deep, man.
Okay,
when you really break it down, bro.
I think a big part of, so when you look at the groups of people, you know what I mean, that you pointed out, essentially, you know what I mean, there's small subsets, especially like when people say, you know what I mean, we'll use the Jewish community as an example, you know what I mean, in comparison to black people as a whole, that is a small group of people with one religion. You know what I mean? Like Jewish people, you know what I mean? They're Judaism, like they have the religion they follow. So it's a small group of people with similar values or whatever, that one group of people. With us as black people, you know what I mean? Like, that's difficult. You see what I mean? So it's literally, because everyone just does things very differently.
How many Asians are there though, bro?
How many what?
Asians
but no, with him, remember, for him, remember, it was an insult to a specific, so he's not apologizing to every, you know what I mean, group. He was apologizing to the one group that he's insulted, essentially. So he's gone to an imam from that community, essentially. He
went to Bradford, where they have the biggest Pakistani community.
You know what I mean? So it's literally, it's like, if you insult Nigerians, you know what I mean, you go deal with Nigerians, you insult Zimbabweans. And I think with us as black people, it gets difficult for us as black people to deal with things, right? Because they want to throw us all in one box, and literally so many subsets. It's like, I watched a video the other day where one guy was talking about in the Jewish community, they buy from each other and so on and so on. You know what I mean? We don't have that in the black community. I was like, do you know how big the black community is? When you look at Jewish people, essentially, it's kind of like saying, well, white people all buy from each other. And when you break it down, you're like, Jewish people are a subset of white people. You know what I mean? It's literally one subsection of white people, and they all kind of have... maybe, you know, what they have in common is their religion, they're this, you group them together. So it's kind of like saying, well, you know what I mean, Yoruba people, just shop with Yoruba people. That's easier to do than saying black people as a whole should buy from black people, because when it breaks down, because think about it, Nigerians tend to mostly support Nigerians, and within the Nigerian community, essentially, if you're Yoruba, you tend to you know what I mean, to go that way. If you're Igbo, you tend to go that way. That's why it's a conversation we're having when we were talking about, you know, even in the... when certain, you know, people get into power, they lean towards their people. So with us, I feel like with us as black people, what happens is, because we're all lumped together, it becomes very difficult, because you're like, who would speak for all of us?
No, but I'm not saying to speak for all of us.
Not to speak, but it's literally difficult.
No, I'm not saying to speak for all of us. I'm saying, for example, as KSI went to an imam and he went to a Sikh temple, I'm saying, for example, you got black, I'm not saying you got black Catholics, you got black Pentecostals, you got black Muslims, like, you can, for example, do the rounds.
No, but the common denominator, I mean, what you just said, is religion. To go and visit the people that were Pakistani.
Yeah. No, but he didn't. No, but he did. That's my point. He didn't just visit Pakistanis. He made a general apology. Like, not. Remember, he went to a mosque. It's not only Pakistanis who go to that mosque, bro.
Yeah,
was the imam Pakistani?
Brother, and he went to a Sikh temple. I mean, I think he went to a Sikh temple as well. Like, he done the rounds. My point is, I hear what you're saying, but I feel like we're just trying to, like, I know black is not one homogenous group, I get that. But for example, if somebody white were to say something like, F Africans, for example, then they said, I'm not racist, I wouldn't say to them, all right, cool, like, don't apologize to West Indians because you didn't offend them. To be fair, if it's a racist statement, it's a racist statement, innit? So you could still say, do you know what, I'm not racist, I apologize to whatever. The way we're going is that because he said the P word, he should only apologize to those people. He's just looking at it like, I'm apologizing to all Asians, because if you're another Asian from a similar region, you might... Remember, that term, man, they weren't using it just for, like, people from Pakistan.
Yeah, they were just using it for
anyone Asian in the East was getting called it. Like, anyone Asian in the East. Like, when I was growing up in the East, the way the white boys used to just call it out willy-nilly, they weren't saying, where you from, mate? Pakistani. Nah, any Indian,
I've actually been called
Bengali.
that more times that I don't think I've ever been called the N-word by anyone. Nah, that word there when growing up in Middlesbrough, essentially, bro. Like I've been called that so many times, bro. I've lost.
But that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's just like whether black people are one homogeneous group, whatever. I'm just saying that within our group, even if you do offend Nigerians, who do you go to? Even if you do, just say for instance, you do cuss Nigerians, who do you go to? If you cuss Ghanaians, for example, who do you go to? If you cuss Jamaicans, who do you go to? Even if you want to, let's break it down like that. Who do you go to?
I think that's a conversation. That's a conversation for those listeners to kind of think about and then just let us know. Like, give us an answer. I don't think there's a right answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just an interesting thing to bring up.
And if someone said to you, if you as a Nigerian or you as a Zimbabwean, yeah, me as a Nigerian, whatever, if someone came out and said something mad about racist about Nigerians, what would you want them to do?
That's a good one.
Do you know what I'm saying? What would you want from them? As in, like, is it an apology that you want them to say, listen, all the Nigerian brothers?
Do I know them
Would you want them to go to Nigeria? No, you don't know them.
For me, literally, it's one of those ones. There's nothing you can do. Essentially, like, and that's where it gets.
So you're saying it's done. You're
not
saying
even that it's done, bro. It's literally like when it's, for me, especially when it's someone, because I look at it this way. Let's say if it's an artist I buy music from, or this and this and this from, maybe it's one of those things where, damn, I now need to maybe see some changed behavior before I then, give you any more of my money. But especially if it's somebody that's random and doesn't affect my life in any way. For me, I look at these things like, well, that's another person, I couldn't give a damn about saying some offensive stuff. That person is X'd out of my situation. I don't care what apology you give or whatever, especially when it comes to...
See, for me, maybe that's our problem as black people. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, but that's our problem, that like we're just like, it is what it is, blasé. Because, for example, like within the Jewish community, brother, if you say the wrong thing, like whether, like for example, we could be 3 Jewish men, me and you might not care. The fact that you said something about the 3 of us, we all care by default, and don't say it again. Because I think when it comes to Jewish people, say that in their history, because things have happened in the past, they don't want history to repeat itself. So any form of anti-Semitism will not be tolerated because we don't want to get to where we were before. So black people need to look at it like the same way as like we've been through what we've been through. So if someone tries it, if you let that go, it's going to fester. And it festers, whereas Jewish people are like, we're not letting it fester. So I'm saying, I get your mindset in like, I don't care about that person. But as black people, it needs to be a case of, nah, bro, don't say nothing. And that way, it's the easiest way. Do you know what I'm saying?
I definitely hear you, but the problem with that is black people have different experiences. Like I said, you know what I mean? When we use Jewish people as a group, you know what I mean? They're one group of people that have experienced something.
Even gay people, LGBT.
Yeah, but these are specific groups where it's easy for them
It's not easy because you got, in terms of LGBT, you got all different, you got black, white, you got all different kind of...
No, but they're unifying thing that kind of has... So literally for them, listen, when you speak...
And our unifying thing is our colour, bro.
Is our
colour.
No,
but that's not enough.
So what your unifying thing LGBT is your sex. Exactly, that's my point.
No, it is.
So it could be your unifying thing, could be your sex, but it can't be our colour.
No, but Marvin, I'm saying
that's my point.
No, I'm just saying it's easier for them to group together because of sex. But with us as black people, bro, it's like even within our groups, like when you we have our colour, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's making you repeat yourself. You've already said it.
Yeah,
he's already said it.
What do you mean?
The reason why the LGBTQ argument makes sense in regards to their sexuality is because that's where their fight is in their struggle.
And where's black people's fight?
Black people
have
again,
different experiences.
Different experiences. So like,
what is our main fight? It's our colour, bro.
No, yes, but it's different because at the end of the day, a black person from Nigeria, a black person from Kenya, a black person from the Caribbean, they're both all black, cool, but their fight is different.
Different experiences.
It is. The experience is different.
All 3 been colonized, bro.
That's not the main argument, though.
But it is a lived experience,
it's not,
bro.
Because my hero is not going to be someone who is Yoruba, and someone who's from the Caribbean, their hero is probably going to be someone else.
It doesn't matter about your hero.
No,
bro.
but it does though, because I'm talking about in regards to referencing like my history. It's not going to be the same as that next black person.
This is nothing to do with history, bro.
No, but I'm talking about, if we're talking about...
That's like saying someone LGBT. There's someone LGBT, for example, who's had a wonderful life, LGBT. They've had no oppression. They've been cool. There's someone else who's been oppressed and maybe grown up in a household where their parents haven't allowed them to be LGBT and they've seen a problem.
Yeah.
That's like saying, their lived experience is different, so they can't use them.
No. That's
the same thing.
I think you're confusing
No,
what I'm
'cause
saying here. I'm not.
No,
when I say
Taser's saying that in terms
yeah,
of
yeah, no, I think, but what you're confusing when we say their experience is like the unifying experience for them. Literally, as gay people, you're like, cool. The thing that brings us together is that we are gay and we experience X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? When like if you go more or less around the world, you will find that, you know what I mean, the issues gay people face are more or less similar everywhere you go. So they're unifying theme. So you can pick gay people from different parts of the world, you know what I mean? And literally they'll group together because a lot of their issues are very similar, essentially. You know what I mean? That's that group, essentially. Jewish people, you know what I mean? They, you know, when you think back to the Holocaust or something, there's these unifying themes that they all have. Then when you think as black people, you know what I mean, as a whole, and when you talk about our skin color, right? How far do we take that? Because wait, like when we talk about skin color, right, blackness. When you go to Sri Lanka, you know what I mean. There's people that are darker than we are. So
tone,
then,
bro.
huh?
It's not the same tone, bro.
It's not the same.
Not the same tone, bro. You can see a Sri Lankan man and know he's not black. I'm just saying that.
But I'm saying you said skin color. So I'm saying
no. I'm saying we're all black people, as in like. So for example, like you're saying LGBT, for example, have certain things that they've been through that. XYZ. Black people have certain things we've been through XYZ. That's why you can speak to somebody black somewhere else and you have a similar life experience as in like what they've been through. Like you can't, I'm not going to go like every single black person has been through something different, bro. They haven't. Because you can speak to your cousins in Nigeria and yes, there might be electricity that they don't have or generally speaking, whatever, but there's things in place or even they might have been on holiday somewhere or been somewhere as a black person that we've been through certain things, bro, certain struggles.
Yeah, but I think the nuance is different. Like, it's the point I'm trying to make.
And sorry to cut you. The point I'm trying to make is that collectively, that's what I'm saying. We're too divided. It should be a case of, as black people, it should be a case of if you've wronged that black person. Same way, like if you're walking on the road, yeah, and I see like a black kid, and maybe like a couple white brothers are pushing him. I don't know that kid. I don't know who that is. But as a black man, I'm going to stop and be like, what's going on over there? Because that's a black person. That's my people. So I'm saying, if you wrong him, you're wronging me because that could be my little brother. It's not, but it could be. So I'm saying, as black people, we need to look at stuff like, you've wronged this black person. All right, what's the reason? I don't like that. Let's all ride. That's what I'm saying we should do as black people. The same as LGBT, the same as Jewish people. It doesn't matter if you're Jamaican and because you're Jamaican and your lived experience is different. No, you're black and something's happened to you and I'm black too. That could have been me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
the premise makes sense. It's the reality of it is different simply because of so many differences as people, essentially. And you know, when you think of people wronging each other and stuff like that, black people are too busy wronging each other to care about other people wronging them.
That's fine.
That's why people is difficult. You know what I mean?
That's fine. But that's like in my house. Me and my brother have an argument and we wrong each other. Does that mean that I should allow someone to wrong him outside?
No, but that's
exactly.
I'm not saying you should. I'm
exactly.
just saying people are too busy wronging each other.
Yeah, but I can't look at what's going on in my house and because of that
but there's still got to be an understanding amongst all of us.
Yeah,
and it's got, for example, everybody's approach to the N-word.
Yeah,
we've got to be unified and stamp it out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
for us to say that you using it is offensive.
Yeah. But then what then comes is
so if he uses the word,
yeah.
And you find it okay with him using it to you.
Yeah.
I use the word, it's okay.
Yeah.
Drake uses the word, it's okay, for example. So obviously everyone's like, okay, cool, you lot are all. But then Drake says, no, you know what? You're at my concert. You're free to say the word. Excuse me? So now I'm sitting next to Tom and Harry and they're just letting the word fly because Drake said it's okay. Do you see what I'm saying?
But my thing is, and that's where, you know what I mean, it all gets, it's difficult. You know what I mean? It's difficult to regulate. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of things.
Because no one else is saying, oh, by the way, you can use this word. It's fine. They're not doing that. People from their own community are not saying you can use that word. It's a racial slur. We're not using that word. Anyone who uses that word is getting stumped up.
Add that word there. A lot of people from the community use it.
But the problem...
Our community.
No, I'm talking about the P word from
their community.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's ignorance though. There was even people that was trying to justify it. It's just a smaller way of saying where they're from. No, it's not.
Yeah. No, I'm saying... I'm saying like I've actually seen like the way they speak about themselves within them. In the way we would use the N-word, some of them use it.
Yeah, but my thing, I think someone...
No, I'm not even saying it's a term of endearment in any way.
Someone broke it down the other day. Someone was like, I can't remember, one American dude was saying that us black people using the N-word is not reclaiming it, but we use it to each other because over time it's a word that was given to us and we've just kind of come down, whatever. But it's like, but you as someone who's not from our community, understanding why the word was used, shouldn't even want to use it.
Mm.
So that's our problem. Is just like, why would you, like, for example, and I think he gave a dope analogy. He was like, my homegirl, my missus and her homegirls call each other bitch. As like, hey bitch, whatever, something different. I would not think about going into the yard and saying, yo bitch, because that's not my place. And I shouldn't want to say that to them because that's not the way I address them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, as I said, why would you want to say, or why are you so desperate to say something that you know where it's come from?
I can't lie to you. I can't answer that question. I ask myself that question all the time.
No, not you. I'm talking about people
I know.
throughout the community.
They feel so, I want to use the word. Like, but anyway, we should just wrap up. Let the listeners decide, because I don't have an answer to that.
No, it's definitely an interesting conversation. It's just really, really hard to regulate. It's kind of like when you think of words like, when you go to America, right? Being, a lot of people offended at being called a black people. So that's how, by non-black people, so it became African Americans. Essentially, they don't like the word colored. Essentially, I told you, when you go back to, like Zimbabwe and South Africa, where that means something totally different. The whole, in terms of even when I was growing up in slavery and stuff like that, for me, I didn't learn that. Slavery didn't hit that hard until I moved over this side of the world, and then I saw it on a grander scale. Because, growing up for me, on something, that wasn't part of my history, essentially. Because if you think about it, like that side of the world, for us, we had different things we were dealing with, essentially. So slavery is something I saw a bit more of when I've come over here. I'm okay. That's
where are you? East Africa?
Southern Africa.
Southern, okay.
Bottom half. Of the map, So for us, it was, different. So with us, back, especially like closer to South Africa, you have stuff like apartheid and stuff like that. That's a whole different side of things, essentially. So some things, yes, may be similar, but again, because we're so big in our groups and stuff like that, it makes it really difficult. And it also doesn't help that within our groups as well, a lot of people don't get along.
Keith, the common
that
denominator,
makes life.
The common denominator is a white man, bruv. The common denominator is a white man. Am I lying though?
No.
West Africa slavery, Southern Africa apartheid and whatever. But I'm telling you, go to East Africa, Italy trying to overtake Ethiopian them man. But common denominator, bro. I'm telling you, we got something in common. I said we didn't. LGBT, people, black people, we got this. Listen.
What, the white man?
No, I'm just talking about as in that's what we have in common.
Oh.
They just fucked our shit up.
On that note, 3 shots of tequila. Your boy Tazer Black. I'm out.
Shout out white listeners, man. Man, still love you though.
We are gone.